On this episode, we're bringing you to the edge and back. Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 12 of the vlog. So we are here today. I've got a guest on episode 12 of the vlog that I'm super excited to talk with. Paige Earl. She is the training lead for Omada Health. They are an extremely exciting and very explosive health tech startup here in San Francisco. Paige and I have worked together over the last 6 to 8 months in really building a department here and designing learning experiences as the organization grows. So Paige, thank you so much for joining. We're gonna talk a little bit about L&D, a little bit about the physical space and what makes the physical space come alive. So let's just jump right in. Paige, you know that I am obsessed with the classroom.
Yep.
And oftentimes that comes out in my interest in classroom design and how the physical space can augment our learning experiences. Tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what you love about the classroom.
I came to Omada by way of sales enablement and have worked my way slowly into learning and development, which has been a really fantastic bridge between my experience as a sales enablement person and as a yoga teacher. One of the things that I really love about the classroom is bringing it to life with the presence and the energy that you show up to in the classroom. And that's really kind of where the classroom comes to life, in my opinion.
All right, so let's go a little bit deeper into the yoga aspect, because you mentioned that you have a background instructing in yoga, and I'm really curious as to, what parts of your yoga practice do you bring to being able to lead and facilitate in front of a corporate class?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Oftentimes before I step into a classroom, I think more of my yoga teaching experience. One of the biggest things that I do is I try to put myself in the shoes of the learner. So what has their experience been like? Have they traveled? What training have they been through? What kind of feelings are they bringing even? Is it early in the morning for them or later in the afternoon? So I can get a feel on the room. That's really the number one thing that I'm looking at, is what is the energy that I'm getting from my students, whether that's in the classroom teaching yoga or in the classroom teaching people to sell better. We've done stretch breaks before, we've done breathing breaks before, and that just kind of helps you to adjust your curriculum and adjust the feel in the room so people are excited to be there.
In my own personal experience with yoga, I know that at times the yoga instructor really challenges us to embrace the discomfort. Mm-hmm. Is there an aspect of that you bring to the learning experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So we talk about this thing when we teach yoga is finding your edge. If any of you out there have taken yoga before, you know that holding a chair pose or a warrior pose for too long, the thighs start to shake and you start wondering why you even showed up in the first place. And the job of the instructor there is to bring you to your edge and safely keep you there just long enough that you stay.
Interesting.
And you kind of toe this balance of how long can I stay here? How strong am I? Yeah. You're tapping into something within you, even though it's just a yoga pose. For me to facilitate a classroom and help people come to that edge and feel safe to dance along that edge is where I want my students to stay. Yeah. And we do that in a couple of different ways. We have an LMS where we actually have folks turn the camera on themselves and share back the knowledge that they've learned. Not everyone, actually no one, appreciates this, but afterwards when they've practiced 20, 30, 40 times and they come in for that live, their confidence is spot on, their talk tracks are amazing, and without fail, every single person tells me, that was awful, but thank you.
That's so interesting. Which is what you'd hear coming out of a yoga class, potentially.
When you're done holding that chair pose, everybody lets out the sigh of relief. It's the same thing. I didn't like the journey, but I'm thankful we went through it.
That's really interesting. So I think from a strategic standpoint, it's really interesting to think about making sure that we are pressure testing our program to make sure that we have opportunities to bring people to that level of discomfort, or as you had mentioned, kind of that edge of their discomfort. What I'm hearing from you is that you essentially lead with a sense of empathy for what these people are kind of going through, and humility in terms of being able to step outside of their comfort zone, and also showing them that you're stepping outside of your comfort zone as well too, and we're kind of on this journey together, which I think is a very intangible but very critical component to the learning experience. Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, one of my favorite aspects of learning and development is the strategic side, right? And we always talk about the clouds and the dirt. I'm interested because I've seen the context of your work over the last couple months. You've had a lot coming at you in terms of requests from the business and just kind of flying the plane as you build it, if you will. How do you keep the strategic elements or that mission of designing great learning experiences at the forefront of what you do?
There are a lot of things coming from every direction, but something that kind of keeps me focused and on task when it comes to designing fantastic learning experiences is this tool we have. We use the design document, and what is so great about the design document is you can get into a room and kind of spitball ideas for how you want to roll out a training. And then you've got all these fantastic ideas, maybe you're whiteboarding them, and now you're going to put them within a structure in this design document. And the design document immediately points out where you have any flaws. That is really what kind of keeps me focused, whether it's a training for diabetes or a training for how to pitch.
The design document has been such a tremendous tool when it comes to having to pull outside resources in as well. So a lot of the training that we build is, none of the training that we build is essentially done in a box or in a closet and then just like released to the organization. We're constantly bringing in, whether that's medical or marketing or the engineering team, in to help us create these experiences. And the design doc is essentially the starting point. It's the platform, it's the common language that everybody speaks in terms of, what are the learning objectives, what is the typical flow or the potential agenda for the session, and then what are we making sure that we get out of it and how are we measuring it. All right, so another aspect of the strategic side of designing great learning experiences is looking up and out and thinking about the future. So Paige, I'm super excited to talk about the future of learning with you. What does that mean for you? What does the future of learning entail?
The future of learning is large. Anthony's much better at the clouds than I am. I like the dirt really well. But for me, the future of learning includes this continued development. You can't allow yourself to stagnate, no matter what it is, whether you're in your corporate environment or pursuing a yoga practice. That hunger to continue to learn and push yourself is really where the future of learning is. And I love that now we have all of the opportunity to become experts at anything. You have Google, you have YouTube, we have endless resources that are available. There's no reason for people to not continue to develop.
I'll also say, and I'm so glad it was actually reflected in this episode, that there is a very human aspect to the learning experience that I think you do such a good job of not only acknowledging, but making sure it's at the forefront of, whether that's the classroom that you're leading over the course of a week, or even at the design table, making sure that we are understanding concepts like mindfulness, concepts like bringing yourself to the edge of your discomfort, and allowing the experience or the curriculum to be designed around what is most important, which is the fact that we're all humans. So thank you for being human. And thanks so much for joining the vlog.
My pleasure.
Super excited to continue working with you, and thanks so much for the insight.
Good luck!